Hey guys, it's Sam here. So today I will be presenting my speeches I had to write for speech class. Speech was one of my electives from second semester of my senior year. I will present 3 of them, which would be informative, debate, and entertainment. First one I'll go over is the informative one. What I liked about speech class is that we could choose any topic. Well, as long as it was school appropriate for one. I mean, not that I ever had any issues with that. But as long as we were able to do how do I say, like we were able to pull it off basically. First speech we had to do was informative. So of course we had to just try to make the speech informative, on whatever topic we chose. Just make the topic informative. Since I had just read about Milton Hershey at the time, I thought of just writing about him. So, Milton Hershey, born on September 13th, 1857 in Derry Township, Pennsylvania, was not only the founder of Hershey's Chocolates, but also had leadership skills most people do not see. One thing we can learn from him is that leaders are not born, they are made. Everything he did in his lifetime demonstrates the true meaning of leadership. Milton came from a poor family and moved around quite often. With that, he would change schools very often, which is why he dropped out of school at the age of 12 and started taking an apprenticeship for a printer 2 years later. After a while, he realized that printing was not for him. That's when he started apprenticing for a candy shop, and after experimenting with caramels, he discovered his passion for confectionery. With that, he opened up his own candy shop in Philadelphia at the age of 18 by borrowing money from his family, which only lasted for 6 years due to bankruptcy. I can't even say that word. Okay, anyways. A few years later, he ran his own candy business again in Chicago, which also failed, and later New York City, which also failed, unfortunately. Milton learned from his failures and came up with a new strategy to make his candy business better, which would be experimenting with specifically chocolate bars after trying German chocolates at a fair in Chicago, which fascinated him. None of the American chocolate companies successfully produced milk chocolate, which is what made chocolate bitter back in Milton's era, though he made a change to that. He revolutionized chocolate by creating milk chocolate. The first few methods he tried failed, though he continued experimenting. When he used powdered milk and combined it with the rest of the ingredients, he realized that's all he needed. Sorry with the background noise, but yeah, so although he established the Hershey Chocolate Company in 1894, he sold his first chocolate bar in 1900. Although Hershey is mainly known for his chocolates, he did more than just make chocolate. Since he and his wife, Catherine Hershey, loved kids though they could not have their own, they established a school for orphan boys called the Hershey Industrial School, modernly called the Milton Hershey School, in 1909. Their goal was to create a school for orphan boys to not only learn basic things like reading and writing, but to also get a trade in something. Milton Hershey faced many challenges such as poor education, business failures, etc. Despite all of the obstacles he faced, he kept pursuing his dream until it eventually came true. He was a very generous person by supporting the orphans for their education, career, etc., remembering where he came from. If Milton had given up on his dream, neither his chocolates or school would have been around, and most importantly, we probably wouldn't have learned that part of being a leader is being selfless and not giving up. Now, as for the debate speech, we had to pick a partner for this and come up with a topic. So there was this one kid who was my partner, and we just thought of going over whether China or Japan is the best country in the world. While I claimed that Japan is the best, he claimed that China is the best. Obviously, this isn't going to be like how the presentation went in class, where me and my partner just kept going back and forth and all that stuff. Yeah, so all I can really do is just read what I wrote. Yeah. If anything, it's more like a persuasive kind of speech to you guys. Anyways, so Japan is the best country in the world. My argument will be based on 3 pillars: the Japanese lifestyle, earthquakes, and cleanliness. The Japanese have an extremely high life expectancy as they live a healthy lifestyle. In fact, Japan has the highest number of centenarians in the world. Their approach to health stands out through their diet, commitment to physical activity, and their mental well-being. Normally, they eat healthy and small portions of everything, lowering the risk of health issues, and physical activity is part of their daily life. In addition, they take hot spring baths to relieve stress. This is a common thing to do in Japan, Not only can the people have a personal one, but there are public ones as well. Since earthquakes frequently occur in Japan, the people have come up with solutions over time. All homes are constructed to withstand some degree of shaking. Building codes for earthquake resistance require strict adherence to predetermined standards. Schools and office buildings are among the other structures covered by these laws. In order to guarantee security while traveling, the trains are outfitted with seismic sensors that, in the event of an earthquake, can cause every moving train in the nation to stop. Japan is the cleanest country you will ever go to. It is not only a priority to the people keeping their homes clean, but also public spaces. At home and in school, they are to put indoor slippers on. In addition, there is no such thing as janitorial services in Japanese schools. With that, everyone cleans up after themselves. It's common to see people carrying their trash with them until they find an appropriate place to dispose of it, which is usually at home. Public spaces, parks, and even train stations are clean, despite the lack of public trash cans in many areas. The reason is not because there are not any trash cans, but because there is a widespread social understanding that littering is disrespectful and harmful to the community. Japan's exceptional blend of their lifestyle, earthquake management, and cleanliness make it a model for the world. While every nation has its strengths, Japan stands out as the best country in the world. Finally, the entertainment speech. It was pretty hard to come up with a good topic for this until my speech teacher put some ideas on Google Classroom. He did different sections, like tutorials, and then I honestly don't remember the other ones. I just remember and then I think monologues were one of them. But yeah, no, I just remember, obviously tutorials, because I chose to do a tutorial, as I thought doing a tutorial would probably be easier for me. However, I wanted to try to come up with my own tutorial, not pick one of the tutorial examples my speech teacher had put up. Not sure if you guys saw my Vlogmas series, but if you saw the 5th episode, you would know that my school drama club did a Nutcracker play. You guys may be wondering, what does that have to do with the entertainment speech? Before I reveal the name of my topic, I'm gonna explain basically the whole story behind how I came up with this. So ever since the drama instructor announced, that we were doing the Nutcracker play, around the time of Christmas, obviously, I was practicing on my part, during my own time and stuff like that. But I don't know, I noticed how every time I'd go out, whether it was at the Dollar Tree or whenever I'd pass by somebody's house, I'd always be seeing a Nutcracker. And then, I know that, yes, Nutcrackers are supposed to be one of the Christmas decors, but I don't know, I just feel this last Christmas, I felt I saw Nutcrackers more than I ever have in my entire life. So yeah, and then just kept seeing so many people had this massive Nutcracker by their front door, and I'd be seeing a lot of Nutcrackers everywhere. That's why I was okay, what is up with this? So yeah, and with that, I guess you can say I started to become my character, becoming so fond of Nutcrackers. Yeah, and so after figuring out the key points and, all that stuff for my speech, that's when I just thought, okay, my topic will be how to interact with a Nutcracker. When I did my presentation in class, I didn't say, all the stuff I just said right now. I just said that this idea was inspired by Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker play. Well, after mentioning the name of my topic, of course. Anyway, so to interact with a Nutcracker, you would start off by approaching it. Many people have mistaken them as a statue that's just meant to be a Christmas decoration. The Nutcracker could be your friend. Imagine the Nutcracker as a human you're friends with. You could try to speak to the Nutcracker, though you shouldn't make a full conversation with him at first, as he will most likely be unresponsive, not in a rude way, but because he is antisocial. Therefore, you should not expect instant gratification from him. Instead, try to offer a compliment at first, You're nuttin', but the best. If that goes well, try cracking a joke. You could say something like, what did the nut say to the nutcracker? Okay. Drum roll, please. You crack me up. Yeah, I was looking up some nutcracker jokes and like while working on this, and I just see this random image, right? Like as I'm like, yeah, just looking it up, and so I just thought, okay, I feel like a good one that could go with this is like, what did the nut say to the nutcracker, you know? And to those who have used a nutcracker, of course, you would understand the joke. Another way to interact with the nutcracker is by dancing with him. First, take his hand, then let the nutcracker be the one to lead. After all, the Sugar Plum Fairy and the ghost of Tchaikovsky have trained him for this. Don't be put off if he's a bit stiff at first. He is wooden after all, so be careful that you don't get splinters. It may be a little unusual to interact with a nutcracker. However, it's all about approach, patience, and a sense of humor. Whether you are speaking to it or dancing with it, the key is to not treat the nutcracker as if it's just an object, but as a companion. Remember, it is a potential friend waiting for your interaction. All right, that is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.